Ever wondered why billionaire Elon Musk uses a tiny home like this?
What do you think of the Boxabl?
Yeah, it seems good. I use the Boxabl as my guest house.
The company behind it is called Boxabl, and it wants to change the way we think about housing.
Those Boxabl houses are so cool.
The tiny house market is projected to be around $7.3 billion by 2029. Imagine a home that comes with everything you need and can be unfolded in just 1 hour. The casita is built in a high-tech factory on an assembly line, much like a car. Each unit is created with new, high-quality materials, ensuring durability and style. Boxabl plans to create different room modules that stack and connect to build many different housing types. There are many notable people interested in Boxabl. Maybe they are onto something. Do you think Boxabl has the key to fix housing?
Welcome to another great episode of Habla Real Estate. Today, we are joined by Boxabl ADU expert Julian, Valle, Vierya, part of the Veteran Alliance Construction Group. We met recently at the phenomenal group, the Real Estate Investors Club of Los Angeles, Greater Los Angeles area. Highly encourage you to check this out. But Julian, thank you very much for joining us. It's a very important topic, the Boxabl ADU. How are you? Thank you.
I'm doing amazing. Just out here spreading the word on the Boxabl, the affordability, and the many benefits of having an ADU on your property. So thank you for having me, Armando.
Absolutely. Before we even get into any of this, because I know you actually come from a contracting background, share with us a little bit about your experience in real estate and contracting. How did you get into all this?
Well, that's a long story, and it started maybe about 20 years ago. So once I got out of the Army, I started remodeling and rehabbing houses that I would actually rent out to people. So I started off doing that, fell in love with the trade and the craft. I started doing some businesses. Got more involved within the building, started chasing a little bit more. So I went from doing the finished work to the rough carpentry type of stuff, fell in love with it out in the field, framing these houses up. And I just realized that I was onto something. Once I did my own projects, I was like, the prices, the territory, you're good at it because the renters love the product. And when you sell the houses I ended up selling those houses. So when I sold them, everybody's like, hey man, this is beautiful work. You should try, being a contractor. So I was just like, you know what? Not a bad idea. So, I started doing that. Of course, went to college, did my military tour service and, applied to be a contractor and got accepted. So that's how I got in.
Amazing, amazing. And of course, we should say thank you very much for your service, Julian. Very much appreciated. It's very special. Now, as we all know, there is obviously a housing shortage here in California. Then these Boxabl ADUs come in. They've kind of been taking the public by storm. There's a lot of popularity gaining here. But now how do we transition into the Boxabl ADU sphere?
So it's just basically, it's up to the consumer right now. The word is out. It's hot. There's 60,000 orders of these on back order. But it's totally up to it's totally up to the consumer right now to say, hey, we think we need a Boxabl on our property. We think it benefits us. And for the many reasons, I mean, just speed and affordability is two great topics that the Boxabl takes care of. And I think those are the two biggest issues affecting housing in California in particular is the speed and the cost of construction.
That's very true. And I was watching because let's break things down step by step. Let's say you get an order, these Boxabls, they have to be shipped. And one of the issues that is solved with these factory manufactured homes is that the shipping problem seems to have been solved with this house. Is that correct? They're shipped to you. How does the process work? Let's take it step by step from the very beginning to the user finally walking in and enjoying the home.
So the process is very simplified, I should say. So it involves maybe 6 steps in total. So the first would be to go online and log into boxabledealership.com. And there they'll ask you some information, your interest in a Boxabl. One of the representatives from them would contact the client and say, hey, you're interested in a Boxabl? Yes. Get some information, basic information. Then what we do is we create a site plan for you. We go online and we create a basic site plan that says, hey, we think this is where your Boxabl could fit at. It's within the parameters of the city. And we hand it over to the potential client. Potential client reviews it. And it also offers some preliminary numbers on there, some preliminary numbers as far as what they could potentially be looking at for a Boxabl.
Mhm.
The next step would be to let the Boxabl dealership know, hey, we're ready to purchase. Let's go. So at that time, they would submit a $500 deposit,
Mm,
and we would actually go out there and conduct a site walk.
mm.
Make sure that everything's squared away, perfect. This is really where you wanted it at. Yes, it does work. Um, After that, we would move on to more of the agreement phase. We'd say, okay, everything clicks. This is the price that you're looking to pay for this Boxabl. One great thing is it's approved by the state of California, so we
Mhm.
can have it in your house within a month.
Mhm.
So, yes, so from that step, we go on to the agreement phase. Once the potential client agrees to have a Boxabl, we start ordering it. So we go to their site and we get the agreement signed. We go over there, we perform the rough construction phase of it, which would be your drainage, your water lines, and your electrical lines. That's what we go do. We make sure that you don't need a panel upgrade, that your current house can actually support this ADU. And if so, we devise. Moving past that stage, we'd get everything inspected, and then we'd put your Boxabl to order. We'd say, hey, here's your order. We'd call up our people that we have available inside of Boxabl and say, hey, I need an expedited rush order to Los Angeles, California. And they would happily expedite it for us and get it on site. Um, After that, the week that it takes or two to get it shipped to the property, we'd continue refining, getting everything passed through inspection. Once the actual Boxabl lands on site, we'd install it within a day to two and go over any final touches that the Boxabl might need, make sure the client is completely satisfied, and pass final inspection. And there you have it within a month. That's how we can have an ADU on your property.
That's amazing. That is, I can see why these are getting very popular, especially with the passing of SB 1211, where now you can have 8 potential more additional ADUs on the lawn. It's just incredible what's going on. Elon Musk, I think even at one point we're going to show the video of Elon Musk even buying one of these Boxabl ADUs for himself. I mean, this is really incredible. This could potentially solve the housing situation or at least remedy it in some way. So Julian, that is incredible. What makes for an ideal lot for this? Who are the ideal candidates for a Boxabl ADU? In your opinion, can anybody just, if they have the size, or are there certain people that are more prone to get a Boxabl ADU? What do you think?
So here you go. You have all kinds of potential clients for the Boxabl. You have what we get an increased amount or a lot of calls about, hey, I have a child that lives with me. I
Mm,
don't want them to buy, they can't afford a house, or I don't want them to buy a big expensive house right now. Can you put an ADU on my property and help solve this? That way I can help my children out. So you have that aspect of it. You also have the investor aspect of it.
mm.
Let's say an investor wants to buy a 3-bedroom house and turn it into a duplex type of situation. So they put an ADU on there in order to increase their rental income. And third, you have villages. So you have either
Mm.
nonprofits. You can create villages for the nonprofits that are taking over. Boxables have even been installed on military bases. So the list is extensive. Anybody that's looking for a quick, affordable housing solution should really consider a Boxable. It's going to take a lot of stress off of you, considering that a typical ground up new build takes anywhere from 6 months to a year for an ADU, based on inspections, based on architects, based on engineers, based on the cities. We're taking it from 9 months to a month. That's
Wow.
a pretty big increase in productivity, which means that you get to have your son or your clients or whoever in there faster, and it's better for you.
That is amazing. And you said that there is a backlog of orders, there's a delay, there's a major shortage, I guess, even of a Boxabl ADUs. That's incredible. I was gonna ask you, Julian, by the way, brief aside, being a veteran-owned company, does that influence the way you work amongst the veterans? Does that factor in at all with your company, or how does that affect the environment, if I may?
So being a veteran actually pretty cool.
Mhm.
Just overall, just being a veteran, a United States veteran.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, we're actually very tied into the military community. So we're slotted to actually do presentations in the San Diego base here within the upcoming month. So yeah, we're already tied in, and this is something that's even, like I said, affordable and quick and fast and easy for them. So if they're looking for something that's quick, fast, and easy, we're the people to call.
Yes, sir. Veterans Alliance Construction will find out exactly how to contact you. Excellent. Now, let's discuss a little bit about the intricacies about this. Let's say, so we do have the approval. What kind of permits do I need? Are they standard permits? Are they different types of permits? What would that process look like for somebody that's a little bit more serious about getting into it?
So, I mean, since it's already rubber stamped by the state of California, that means that the city has to accept it, the city or county. There are certain stipulations as far as some cities could give pushback, right? Because ultimately they are the city. They, but for the most part, they just they push them through. You got about a week or two. They need to review them. Okay, yeah, this is stamped by California. Let's get this passed through. So it's a typical ADU permit. But it goes a lot faster. Whereas a regular ADU permit's going to take you 3 months to 6 months to pass through the city. This is going to go a lot faster. I mean, obviously it's city and county specific, but for the most part, you should get a turnaround within a week to two. The things you should be ready to go with most cities. Yes.
Julian, you're getting me excited, man. Yeah, I want to box away to you tomorrow, but I know at least it's a month time, but this is exciting. This is honestly very exciting. Which cities have you found to be a little bit more friendly toward the Boxabl ADU community? Are there certain, maybe Los Angeles a little tougher, Irvine, I think you mentioned. What do you think are the friendlier cities toward this?
Well, I mean, let's just say that there's always regulation, but there's less regulation towards the Inland Empire area as far as less paperwork involved. Once you start getting to LA County, it can be done. Anything can be done, but it just takes a little bit longer. It's more steps needed to complete in order for you to actually pass the permit process, if that answers your question.
It does. It does. And should homeowners know anything about possibly any sort of restrictions, easements on the property, anything like that? Any of the more intricate things?
Yes. So, I mean, there are setbacks. There's always setbacks that are required by every city, and it's based typically on your lot size, right? So if you have over an acre of property, you're going to need at least a minimum of 10-foot setback, a minimum of a 10-foot setback. If you got anything less than an acre, then it's going to be a minimum of a 5-foot setback. But that's where we come in, and we use software with the GPS satellite to actually go in your backyard and make sure that this is going to be suitable for you. And we provide you a site plan, and you're like, okay, this works. Like, oh, okay, we're already taking all that guessing work out for you pretty much. So I think that's a great advantage. It's a great system. I've never really seen anything like it, the software that we use, but it's great. Can I build? It's amazing stuff. Amazing.
And this is incredible. And it all happens with a $500 deposit from what I hear. Is that true?
No, you get that even before the $500 deposit. So
Oh,
you get
wow.
the site plan. Yes. So we have people available to take your call, get you the actual site plan, something you review. After you say, hey, you know what? This site plan looks good and this cost is pretty much where I want to be at. Then you call and say, hey, I'm serious about this. I want a Boxabl. How soon can you get us one? We'll schedule up an appointment, get the $500 deposit. The $500 deposit goes towards your purchase. If you end up purchasing the Boxabl, it gets deducted off your final purchase. And we take it from there. Then we're building within a month. We should have your Boxabl within a month.
That's incredible. That really is incredible. Now let's talk a little bit about any sort of technical challenges that we should be aware of. Is there some technical early on? Is something spotted that you want to maybe make the client aware of, or how soon are you able to identify that maybe in the preliminary phase, like you mentioned? What would that possibly be? And not to get too grim, but I'm sure there may be some technical challenges that we want to be aware of as we progress through the build.
Yes. So we try to find the technical challenges using the satellite imagery. But oftentimes you can't be 100% accurate on there because you're not actually looking at it face value. So, I mean, when we walk, that's why we walk to your property, or we get to your property once you schedule the inspection, and we say, hey, look, this is feasible. Like, okay, we can use a big crane to get over your neighbor's house. We can work with this easement here. And then sometimes we can figure out things like, hey, do you want a separate electrical supply for this ADU? Do we have to move power lines for this ADU? I mean, all kinds of stipulations. That's why it's very important you conduct that site walk before you get into any kind of sort of agreement. And it eliminates a lot of the headache. I'm here to make it easy for you. Like, okay, everything up front, this is what it's going to take. And, it just makes the process a lot easier for the client and for everyone involved.
It's amazing. It's amazing that you found this niche, Julian. Now, I know these are a lot of questions, but it's so much great information. And this is so new and exciting that we're all very curious about this and how we can implement this. We have the space, of course, but let's talk a little bit about the actual unit itself. What can we customize? What can we customize on the interior, on the exterior? Can we change the shape, the size? What do you think are some things that we can and cannot customize?
So I'll reference this to something that I think the majority of the user base can tie into or reference a car. It's just like a car. So a car, you can't change the body of a car, but you can change the paint color of a car. So on a Boxable, it comes in white, but I mean that's something we can include on there. If you say, "Hey Julian, I want this in pink for my daughter," we can change the color of the walls. But it comes with your kitchen already installed there. It's going to be a white kitchen, a white modern shaker style kitchen. Beautiful. It's all beautiful.
Mhm.
Modern styling, something that you would see on a beach house in San Diego. So it's very, very modern. But the interior is always upgradable, and so is the exterior. If you don't like the sink or the faucets that come with it, I mean, at an extra charge, we could absolutely change that.
Mm.
Let's say you don't like the traditional white look of the outside of your Boxable. I mean, we can put any kind of siding you can think of on the outside. We can customize that.
Wow.
Anyway, whether it be stucco, siding, you name it, we can do it. Interior, we can change the paint colors. Roof, you also have different options for your roof. Very,
Mhm.
very important. You have the typical roof that is a flat roof, with a certain pitch that meets
Mhm.
California regulations. You also have a gable roof. So you get different options on the exterior for the roof. Um, let's go back to the interior. The interior, we can change the paint color, like I said, in the cabinets and the flooring, which I wouldn't recommend because it's beautiful as it is. But
Mhm.
I mean, the client is the ultimate end user, and if they want to change it, they can change it.
Amazing, amazing. It really is extremely customizable. Now, have you had any stories or anecdotes where it gets to build time, you're almost done with construction, last minute they want to change something pretty major. How would that be handled? Yeah.
And this is a construction, and the reason why I laugh is this happens all the time.
Mhm.
90% of the time,
Mhm.
and it's because it's due to the fact that you see the progress progressing, and you're
Mhm.
like, wait a minute, these guys are doing a good job. It's looking good. Let me add this on there, and
Mhm.
that's what we often run into. It's like, okay, sort of like when you're at a good restaurant and you're having a good steak, and you say, and throw that dessert in there for me. And so it's like, hey, yeah, can you throw these lights in? Can you do this? Can you do that? So, 9 times out of 10, that happens, even when doing insurance work for the insurances. We'll go in there and we get hired to either fix our houses for fire or flood. And they're like, hey, you're doing an amazing job. How about you start tackling our kitchen?
Mhm.
So there's always changes on there. And the team is trained and able to adapt to the client's needs.
Amazing. How do you handle that? It's fairly easy. Like you said, you just adapt, you just integrate it, you go roll with the punches type of situation.
So every project is assigned a project manager, which
Mhm.
the client ends up meeting.
Mm.
And that's who all the communication would go through. Obviously, we have field guys out in the field and leads with the field guys, but the field guys will often refer you back to the office or to your project manager. Hey,
Mhm.
you want to add on something right here? Hey, let's have you contact the office and they will address it. So you'd get a call from somebody inside the office or your project manager addressing the situation for you. Like, hey, what else would you like to do?
Mhm. Excellent, excellent. And then I know share with us a little bit about the crew size. I know you and I spoke about this independently, but the crew, share with us a little bit about the crew on site. What does that look like?
So, I mean, the crew on site, it's pretty minimal. I mean, you'd have 3 guys actually installing it, 1 crane operator, and
Mm.
you'd have a superintendent on there. So, I mean, a total of 4 to 5 guys. It can be
Mm.
done with 4 to 5 guys. The actual installation process of it, and you have a very nice video of it being installed
Mhm.
in your inbox.
Oh, that's great. That is now, have you done any of these? And I know you said that everything is almost on a case by case basis, but have you done any of these where they've been integrated into the house itself, kind of like a casita, or is that even possible?
You know what? That would be a site-specific question, and
Mhm.
although I am a general contractor, I
Mhm.
would reference them back to an architect and an engineer,
Mhm.
because ultimately they would. them along with the city would have the final say.
Mhm.
And the engineer is basically the one that goes in there and says, hey, yeah, that works if you knock down this wall and you integrate this casita into here or not. And the city approves it, through the calculations that they provide. So I haven't done it, not saying it can't be done with the right people on board, the right architect, the right engineer. It can definitely be done. I believe so.
I love that. I love that there's the very positive attitude. Yes, we can. I agree. And would you help somebody navigate those types of situations and conversations?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we do have a team of dedicated architects and engineers that we work with and that we currently use. We just haven't had that request yet. And I know it's going to come because somebody's gonna get that idea. But yeah, I don't see why not. The casitas are, the boxables are
Mhm.
they're very versatile. So you can
Mhm.
stack them on top of each other, which are working on getting actual approval from California right now. You can
Mhm.
stack them next to each other. So I don't see why you couldn't integrate it into the framing of current
Mhm.
residents.
Interesting. That would be interesting. I'm excited for that. Now let's talk a little bit about what are and I don't know how much of this you can divulge, but what are we typically looking at this as far as cost? What are we look I know Elon Musk and Boxable, some of them are 50 grand, some of that ranges. What is kind of a good answer to that?
So you have right now what's approved for California. You have a 361 square foot casita,
Mhm.
and then you have a 722 square foot 2-bedroom casita. So
Mm.
I'll take it for the most popular one being
Mhm.
361 square foot. So what you're looking at basically is it's going to be a $50,000 purchase price from
Mm.
Boxable.
Mhm.
You're also gonna have to pay transportation costs. You're gonna have to pay Title 24 costs and roof. Roof is
Mm.
gonna have a big important factor into how much your casita, how much you're gonna pay for your casita.
Mhm.
The typical traditional roof is $10,000 to $12,000 from the factory, right?
Mm.
But if you go for a more custom, let's say we want a gable roof on here,
Mm.
then we got
Mhm.
to get the architects involved. We got to get the engineers involved. A little bit more shitty work, a little bit
Mhm.
more framing, so that changes out the price. Um, and then you have the rough plumbing, the water, the electrical that goes in there too. So I mean, typically what we're getting out of this on a typical build. I mean, a typical build. What I mean by that is the ground is flat. We're
Mhm.
not building it on the side of a cliff. All the all the ingredients are there. I mean, it's a flat. The house is pretty close to the casita where we can access water and the drainage line. I mean, they're typically coming in from 150 to $170,000.
Mhm.
Although every site and every build is different.
Mhm.
Um, the beautiful thing about that though is we have partnered with a financing company called Slice, so we can get the payments for as low as $1,100 a month.
Oh.
So I think that's ultimately the number that people would want to see, is what am I going to pay for this a month? What am I
Mhm.
going to pay for it? What am I going to charge my kid for it? What am I going to charge my renter for it? Or what kind of return on investment am I going to get as an investor?
Yeah.
So automatically adding a casita to your property increases your property value. So you automatically have that. Plus, we know that with properties, over time, properties increase in value. So properties can increase, your values can increase over time. Plus, you can get these rented out in LA County for more than $1,100.
Mhm.
I'm sure of that. But I don't know the exact number because I've never rented one out there in LA County. But I know the rent tends to be more expensive out in LA.
Mhm. Excellent answer. Thank you for that, Julian. Excellent. Now, I'd imagine it's very comparable to your traditional stick-built ADUs. They're fairly comparable. How would you compare that to your traditional stick-built ADU? Is it about the same? Pretty, maybe
So
more?
So out there in the Los Angeles area, I've gotten since I'm a GC, I've gotten quotes to do builds, from $400 a square foot all the way up to $600 a square foot.
Mhm.
So those are the numbers that I'm getting out there from contractors out there in LA, licensed contractors. Where the Boxable comes in towards a lower rate. If it's really close to your house, I mean, we can get this, closer to the $300 price range. It
Mhm.
just all depends on the situation. Average price range, 350 a square foot, just to
Mhm.
be fair, to throw it out there. But not only that, take away the price. How about the benefits? The
Mhm.
benefits as far as the time that you save.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when doing a new build from the ground up, uh, we find that the most frustrating part for the consumer is the actual getting the permits approved through the city, getting the architect, the engineer, and the city or county to work on the same page. So
Hmm.
sometimes that takes 3 months, 6 months. I'm working on a project right now that's a commercial 44 unit new build. It's been 2 years just going through the permitting process, right? So you got you got the client saying, "Hey, what's going on?"
Hmm.
They don't realize behind the scenes, you're actually choreographing a bunch of people to work together.
Hmm.
And that's what's taking so long. City's asking, hey, make these changes. Engineers making it, architects making the changes. Then the city's asking for something else or all kinds of stipulations. So that's all going on in the background. Whereas if you just get a Boxable that's already stamped, you can have
Hmm.
your house in a month and let go of the headaches, let go of the stress. Is it going to be done? When is it going to be done? Here you go. You got a perfect. It's honestly what it is, and I can reference it to the automotive industry. It's like when Henry Ford created the Model T. It's like
Hmm.
fast, and the more you do, the more inexpensive they become.
Hmm.
And that's basically what the Boxables is doing with this whole ADU situation is creating the Model T, the Ford of
Hmm.
the housing space.
Love that. Love that. Excellent. Now, taking a couple of steps back, going back to basics a little bit, do you also help with the foundation? Is that something that you can help with as well?
Absolutely. So I
Oh,
mean, we're a GC. We would take it from the beginning to the end.
okay.
We ensure compliance. We ensure everything's going according to plan. And so yeah, we would also help out with the foundation, the plumbing, the electrical, every aspect of the project into a closure until it's finally stamped, approved, and everybody says it's good to go. So yes, we follow the project all the way through.
Amazing. Amazing. What about air conditioning and heating? Are these also equipped with air conditioning and heating fully?
That's a good question. They do. They are.
Good.
That's another wonderful, another benefit
Mm.
of the Boxables. Include your kitchen, include your washer, your dryer, it includes your HVAC system inside there. It includes your faucets. It's pretty plug and play. The only thing it doesn't include is the furniture. Okay. It doesn't include,
Oh.
nothing included, but everything that you would find in a traditional house when you go to purchase, you're going to find it inside there, plus more. Yeah, plus more because I don't know too many home sellers that offer the washer and dryer package with the cell. But I mean, well,
Shoot, man, yeah, I've been sold for a long time. That's why, of course, it's a pleasure to have you here, Julian. But what were do we know what the lenders and the appraisers thinks of Boxables? Do they see them as your traditional ADUs? What is kind of their perspective on things?
so like I mentioned, I mean, everybody's taking a shot at this. Everybody wants the banks want a piece of this. As a matter of fact, I just got off the phone with the First National Bank of Omaha,
Mm.
which operates Slice. And they're like, hey, Julian, we're already doing a bunch of these Boxables out throughout the United States, and California is just really booming. We want another, do you want to, can we work together?
Mhm.
And I'm like, absolutely. So they're involved and they're so excited or so
Mhm.
passionate about this project that they offer a system where you can apply online that just does a soft credit check.
Mhm.
So it doesn't affect your credit through Slice. And it doesn't you don't have to put your house down. It's just all based on your credit score. With credit scores as low as 600.
Mhm.
Yes, there's that kind of financing available. There's also your traditional HELOCs. You can always
Mhm.
go to your bank and ask them, hey, give me a home equity line of credit. They're also accepting that. So it's there. It's good. It creates equity in your property. So, for example, a 722 square foot Boxable installed on your property, on average, they're paying maybe 280 to $330,000. It's
Mhm.
adding $400,000 in value automatically to your property according to the bank appraisal.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that answers your question, Ramon.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Thank you for that. I mean, many benefits of the Boxable is incredible. I'm excited. I think a lot of people are excited. What has been your Have you had a favorite project to work on? And what has been kind of some of your favorite memories of since you got into the Boxable space, seeing the progression of happy, satisfied customers? Have you had a couple of memorable moments?
Since I have memorable moments with all my projects because I get So I walk my projects. I talk to my clients. I'm out there in the field. I'm out there shaking hands and talking to
Mhm.
people. Hey, how's everything going? So I have many, and our services range so widely. I have so many good experiences, and it's hard to nail one down. But I mean, if I really had to, I like it would be working on a historical project where there's an actual challenge.
Mhm.
Not that there's not a challenge to building, but I've been doing this for so long that it's all pretty automatic. But once
Mhm.
you get like the historical value involved in there, those tend to be more challenging, but more rewarding as far as you get to see something, built in the 1900s, brought up to modern standard, to code, to building standard and to the beauty of a building. So I like watching all projects go from nothing to something, which is why I got into this industry, just creating,
Mhm.
bringing something to life. Yeah, many memorable moments. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. And then on a just out of curiosity, have you done any of them that are side by side, or what is kind of the scope of the breadth and the wideness of how many you can put together? And can you kind of build a multi-unit facility? Would that look like?
So yes, I've actually provided several videos for you to actually post on there so people can actually see this
Mhm.
coming to real life to fruition.
Mhm.
So yes, it's all dependent on the city and county. So whatever the
Mhm.
city and county tells you, you can actually put on a plot of land. That's who we have to listen to. But yes, we do have several success stories of doing 6 to 12 next to each other, not conjoined, but separated by a
Mhm.
minimum of 10 feet or whatever it is that the city or county requires of us. We
Mhm.
send them built around the lake.
Mhm.
Anything is truly possible. Now they're working on stacking them on top of each other, right? So the sky's the limit, basically,
Mhm.
with this product for right now.
Excellent, excellent. Is 1 month the fastest possible, or have you done something before?
No, 1 month would be we would try to keep it, and that's adjusted with with some fluff inside there with some time, but you don't want to really take it any less than that, and that's all dependent on the city, though. That's
Mhm.
all dependent on the city. So if the city is, let's take Newport. Newport's a month out for inspections. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So you're gonna do something and call the inspector, and he's gonna be like, hey, I'll be there in a month. That's gonna throw off your month timeline. But if you're out here in Riverside and you get it stamped in 3 days, then you're able to get the ball rolling. Within a week, you're already doing your rough stuff. So you're able to move the ball a lot faster. Get the inspectors they're a lot faster. For example, out in San Bernardino, we can get them in there 3 to 5 days. You can get an inspector to come and check everything, and you can get combo inspections. LA, a little bit different. It may take a week or two. Hey, you know what? If it's electrical,
Mhm.
it could be. I've had situations where it's a month and a half in Pomona,
Mhm.
just to get an electrical inspector out there. It just depends on the talent that the city has. How many inspectors the city actually has for
Mm.
every one of the trades.
I know the LA is a little tougher than others, and it's just tough. But we plug along here, Julian. So, but yes. Now let's briefly discuss when we're going to resell. What is the longevity of this? I mean, are we looking at the longevity of this house just like a standard brick and mortar? You're looking at 5, 10, 20 years. This is just as durable as anything else, or if not better. What is the lifespan, if you will, of these boxable?
Well, I mean, they haven't really been around that long
Mhm.
for you to actually get a 30-year outlook on what it's going to be. But based on the building material that they're using and the tests that they have conducted, they're as good as a traditional stick build or
Mhm.
even better. The reason why I say this,
Mhm.
and the reason I say this is because they have done tests through hurricanes to make sure that, it doesn't break down. They have done tests by dropping cars on these boxables and they don't crush. Where a traditional house, that's, your roof's done, that's done. They've done these things. They try to light them on fire with blowtorches and they don't
Mm.
light on fire. So, I mean, that's why I'm excited about it. And why I put
Yes.
my name behind it. Cause I'm like, dude, I mean, I build from the ground up also, but the typical houses nowadays can't withstand. If you go put a blowtorch up to a typical house right now, it's going to catch on fire. And
Mhm.
if you drop a car on a typical house, it's going to crush through the roof. So yeah, very good durability based on the
Mhm.
tests that were conducted. That's why California gave them the stamp of approval. California being one of the hardest states to get an approval on. So if California gives you the green light, you're pretty much good to go throughout all the United States because California is just so stringent with the laws, rules, and regulations. Also,
Mhm.
another just another side note, the Boxables come with up to a 7-year of warranty
Mm.
when you buy them. So I mean, this is, and this is even far and beyond what you get from a typical stick build. I mean, you
Mhm.
can go anywhere from 1 to 3 years for a stick build. They're giving you up to 7, which speaks something, I think, to the durability of their product.
That's phenomenal. That's great to know. So 7-year warranty minimum, and of course they were approved here in the beautiful state of California, stamp of approval. So I mean the benefits are tremendous here. Now, obviously, we had recently the fires here in the Pacific Palisades. We had the fires in Altadena, where we know that this is a earthquake heavy zone. How does the Boxable handle those situations? Have they been tested for these types of things, or is that something that the insurance company looks into when uh, in making an informed decision as to whether these are insurable or not? Do you have any information on that type of aspect?
So yes, as I last heard, and I'm supposed to be doing another presentation over there at an Altadena Senior Community Center, um, regarding the Boxable. So as I last heard, they're getting rid of all the debris out there for the city to say, okay, you can now build. How they're using the Boxable, or how they will be using the Boxable in the future, is once everything's said and done, it's clear. The city says, hey, okay, go back, you can now build. What people are doing is, while their house is being built, they're putting a Boxable on there to live on there while their house is built. Once their house is built, they either have a guest house, or B, they're putting their children, the mother-in-law, the father-in-law back there. So it's working out amazing. Plus, they get out of their hotels now. Let's just say that the insurance has had them inside of a hotel. You're able to go back. I mean, not fully 100% right because you don't have your property 100%, but you're at least able to get some sense of normalcy
Mhm.
in your life because you're able to return at least to where you're used to returning to. And let's be honest, I mean, hotels are nice, but it's not the most comfortable situation to be in, right? So I think a Boxable solves that right there. Yes.
That's awesome. So they are using the Boxable and Altadena. I'm sure we'll recommend to Palisades as well that the Boxable is a great solution. No more hotel room. Come on, build a Boxable, and there you go for as a temporary unit of housing. That's excellent. We've discussed the intricacies. I think we've gone from the 6 steps of the Boxable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've talked a little bit about customization, but what models do we have for somebody right now that says, you know what, I have a space in the backyard. SB 1211 just passed. I can build up to 8 ADUs. What are our options? We have the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Share with us a little bit about how we can get involved in the different options that we have in the box.
Yeah, there is the your 1 bedroom traditional casita, 361 square foot. That
Mhm.
includes everything we discussed. And you have the 2 bedroom, 722 square foot Boxable. So those are the two different options that you have. They are working on a third one,
Hmm.
that's called the baby casita. And the
Mm.
baby casita, what that is it's basically a smaller version of the casita, smaller than 361 square foot, but it's on wheels, so you can take it wherever you want to go. So those are the three different models that are available as of right now. Although I, it, they said don't mention this, but they're working on a bigger. They're working on creating a bigger floor plan. So up
Mm.
to like 1,600 square feet, right? Like a traditional house, which would,
Wow.
I mean, just imagine the time savings and all the benefits of having a regular house on your property within, a
Mhm.
month to compared
Well,
to a year or two. It's going to be, I think, amazing.
that's a very exciting. The 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and then 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Is that correct, or is it 2 bedroom, 2 bath?
You know what? You caught me. I believe it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. I did have the floor plan
Uh-huh.
that I sent over to you, but yeah, I
Yeah,
believe it is a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom.
we'll show it. We'll show it just to confirm. And then you said that there's a third option coming out that is on wheels.
On
And
wheels.
on wheels, is that kind of like a mobile home type of situation?
Yeah, you would consider it that. Yeah, mobile home or something that you could use to go out to the sand dunes,
Mhm.
out there with the family. But yeah, it'd be something like that. A mobile home is what it would be. Maybe I think it's 160 square feet. It's half the size of the traditional casita.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Julian, this has been tremendously useful information. What advice would you give somebody that is very interested in this and wants to take a couple of first steps? What advice would you give to somebody that wants to just starting out? They've heard about the Boxable and they want to get into it. What do we do?
So go to boxabledealership.com
Mhm.
or you could visit betalliance.us. Either one of those websites would get you in contact, in communication with a representative that could assist you with completing the steps for Boxable. Of course, you can always pick up the phone number about 951-758-9907.
Yeah.
That'll get you the office number directly. But my first step would be to actually visit boxabledealership.com, get on board right there and start following the process. Submit your information. You'll get a call back from the office. We'll get you a site plan, like I mentioned. We'll get out there in the field and we'll get you moving and put in line.
Is everything pretty much complimentary up until the $500 deposit, or what would be those steps that at which point
Yes.
does it get serious, so to say?
Yes, that's right. So everything would be complimentary, even the site plan, which architects charge 8,000 to 1,200 bucks for. I mean, they made it so user friendly that we're able to provide this at no cost. So
Mhm.
all the way up until the site inspection. Once you say, "Hey, this site plan looks good. I'm good to go." We got a generalized idea as to what the price is going to be.
Mm.
Then you would call and say, "Hey, I am ready to proceed." They would take a $500 deposit from you and we would get you scheduled for the next available date for us to be on site to actually inspect your site.
That's excellent. And then what is your website available for Veterans Alliance Construction Group?
The website is www.vetalliance.us.
Vetalliance.us with Julian Vierya. Julian, what's your Julian Vierya?
Yeah, Julian Valle Vieira, but I go by Julian Valle.
Julian Valle, excellent. And then where do you see the future of Boxables going? Do you see this getting more mainstream? I mean, it's very popular right now. I think everybody seems to be talking about this as far as shortening the construction time, the durability, the many benefits. But what is your take as far as the future of the Boxable? And do you think it'll get more mainstream?
It's the wave of the future. I mean, as far as the whole Model T concept, just like Henry Ford took the car and standardized the process that made it easy and affordable for everybody, this is the way that I see Boxable going.
Excellent. Anything that I didn't ask you that you may want to mention about the Boxable?
No, you were very knowledgeable. I mean, the questions are great, man. I was like, oh, okay, good.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more questions right now that as we get into the process, things come up. But I think just for a general overview of the fascinating Boxable ADU, thank you very much, Julian, for being on say Habla Real Estate. And once again, betalliance.us and your phone number, Julian.
951-758-9907.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Armando.